Welcome to the C.L.I.M.B. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. That's what you're going to need to get ahead. Nobody's going to make it happen for you. C.L.I.M.B, C.L.I.M.B, is an acronym if you haven't figured it out yet. It stands for creating leverage in the music business. How clever are we? With that, I want to introduce you to my co-host and good friend, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And what I love is Brent helps you. He helps songwriters turn pro by teaching the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting. And you can find him at manvsrow.com. That's manvsrow.com, or the newly rebranded songwritingpro.com. Same sites, just two different names.
That's right. And I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. It's an innovative artist development company. They help you find your sound, and they help you find your audience. Not only do they develop and improve your artistry, they also grow and monetize your fan base, creating cash flow.
Cash flow.
Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, and Spider-Man. Oh, wait, that's the other Daredevil. Anyway. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S. Why? Because there's only one Johnny D.
They broke the mold, baby. How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine.
Well, cool, man. Well, gosh, it's we're well into October now, and I wanted to touch on something today that was kind of really in your lane too, and so I think I'm going to talk about it from a producer perspective, and you can weigh in early and often about from a songwriter perspective and what it feels like to be on the other end of that. But I think this is really good information to know, and this is actually taken from one of my second most popular article I ever wrote on the blog, and also by far the most provocative. They had the most responses, and they were weighted one way or the other, like, thank you so much for being honest, or you really suck, you Mr. Big Producer, like, you just hate creative, rah, rah, rah. And so a lot of people got upset, and what it was entitled was the 10 worst song demo mistakes. 10 worst song demo mistakes. And this situation is it's a very specific situation, but I don't think it's all that uncommon. And I think that part of my goal into explaining this is, in breaking this down for everybody that's listening, is to show you that you need to really be aware of what's going on inside that control room when a producer and somebody else and the artist sits down, they start listening to songs and they start making judgments on what you're doing, because there are things that you can do, to the mistakes that you can eliminate, that will stack the deck in your favor, that will give you every possible chance to compete, as opposed to turning somebody off right away, especially in a situation like this where we're overworked, super exhausted, a last-minute situation that we had to deal with, my co-producer and I, that was not our fault, and kind of dropped in our lap right at the end of the day, and we were like, holy crap, and still we had to do our job, so that's what we did. I'm going to go through some of these things,
Awesome. I think that's great, because, as songwriters, we just look at it from one side of it, or as artists, we look at it from one side of it, and then it's hard to picture it from the other side of the desk, who's doing the listening. And so I think it's valuable to get that perspective. I know when I first moved to Nashville, I knew a publisher a little bit, and he had just left a publishing company. He was doing some of his, kind of had his own company that he was just starting. He's like, hey, you want to do a little bit of song plugging for me? I was like, yeah, unpaid. But, it was really valuable, because here he dumped in my lap this catalog that he had to work with from hit songwriters, and pros, people that are where I was aspiring to be. And it was cool to be on the song plugger side of it for just a little bit and listen to all these songs, none of which have been cut yet, but they're all by pros, and how my mind started working.
Yep.
Be on the other side of the desk going, and now I'm looking for reasons not to play this song for somebody, because I'm trying to whittle down. I'm looking for reasons to, yes, I want to play this one. No, I'm not going to play that one because of that, and that sort of stuff. And I think that helps my songwriting, because I was able to go, okay, what might a song plugger be thinking about this? So I'm looking forward to this because I think it's going to be valuable.
And I'll bet it helped your songwriting, but also it helped your business perspective in the sense that you're not where we all go when our song isn't chosen, when we have an opportunity and we're not awarded the trophy. We feel mortified. We're wounded as artists. It's just where we go. We all feel some amount of that. And the difference between a professional and non-professional is the pro gets that, okay, it just wasn't the right song. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't because it sucked. Okay, we're or hopefully, I mean, that's one of the issues we're going to get into. But anyway, so here's the situation. My co-producer and I, my ex-business partner, this was a few years back. We got the call to produce a record, multi-platinum artist, and it was a New York label, and it was all cover songs that we were doing. Like this artist was doing some really killer cover songs. I mean, I can say the name of the artist. It's been out there forever now. It was Colin Ray, and he is. I mean, his voice is just ridiculously good. I mean, he's
great.
Huge range. And so he had all these like late 80s, late 70s, early 80s, big rangy love songs. And that's what he was going to do. And it was fantastic. And so we had set the downbeat was next Monday. It's currently Monday. The downbeat was a week away from when everybody's set to go in. We're going to start recording these songs. We've picked them out. We've done our pre-production work. We've got our ducks in a row, and then we got a call from the label. Hey, fellas, we want 2 originals on there. Can you go find us some songs? Do you think we could get any good ballads? And we're like, 3 years ago, which I think this probably would still hold true today. You could chime in on that, Brent, but nobody's really cutting ballads. Nobody's really spinning ballads. So there was all of a sudden I felt like a pretty big backlog of nice ballads that didn't go to your normal top tier on the radio now artists because the market wasn't there for them. So we thought we could get a hold of some really good ones. So you get a tip sheet. That's what we do. We send out a tip sheet. That's what it's called. And that tip sheet might say on the row, I mean, how would you describe it? Like, it might say like AC/DC songs with country lyrics, or it might say ballads needed. And it'll tell you what the artist
Rarely.
is. Right.
Rarely going to say ballads.
Well, that's but I mean, it'll tell you what kind of song they want. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It may say, a lot of times, sadly, it just says like, great song, hit, up-tempo positive.
Right. It might give you some indication as the tone they want.
Right.
Or
Dixie
whatever.
Chicks makes Dirks Bentley. Or something.
Yeah, so you get some. So the songwriter. So you as a songwriter or as a song plugger or somebody who's going to go try to make a connection with the people who are going to make the decision on what's going to make the record, they're going to give you some kind of vague, as it may be, blueprint of this is what we're looking for, right? And then it's your job to know the artist and to try to do so accordingly. So this was the situation. So let's go back to the actual timeline of what happened. So this is Monday. So, Monday night, we put out the bat signal to all our artist friends. Hey, we need songs for Colin Ray's new record. We're going to pick 2 originals. We're doing rangy ballads. This is what the record is. Send us what you got. And of course that, we did the normal sort of routine of, disseminating the information. 3 days later, so that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like by Friday or by Thursday, I think I had 250 songs in my email box. Okay, that I was aware of, because we're going to talk about that too. And we have our work already. We're busy Monday through Friday this week. This is not the time that's allotted for Colin Ray, and for this record. But now Friday got done in about 6 o'clock. And do the math on this. Okay, what's that? Knock, knock, knock. Who's at the door?
Who is there?
That's math. And math is that after we went out and grabbed a bite to eat, we came back and we had at 7 p.m. to start listening to 250 songs. And you may be thinking, well, Johnny, you're the big producer. You should just go ahead and do that, dude. Like, what's you complaining about? Whatever. Well, man, if it's a ballad and you're getting through, we want to get through the first verse, the first pre-chorus, and the first chorus of 250 songs. That's about a solid minute and a half.
If it's tightly constructed.
Okay.
Right.
At least a minute, but do that times 250, guys. That's 6 hours, 6.5 hours. Like, we're going to be working well into the weekend because we had to do it Friday. After we gave everybody a chance to get their stuff in, we had to give everybody a chance to get it to us, for the message to get out there, for them to go through their catalogs, to get back to us, to email them to us, for us to go through them. Then we had to whittle it down to say 15 to 18 songs that we were going to present to Colin, the artist, on Saturday, so Colin could say, yes, these are the 2 I want to record, and he would have Sunday to learn them and do what he needed to do to be ready to come in and sing them on Monday. Okay, that's where we're at. Like, so it's got to happen. Tonight's the night. It's going to happen, and there's no pushing this out, you know. So there's your situation. There's your setup. There's the conflict. Right now, we're getting into the story. So 10 worst song demo mistakes. Number 1, long intros suck. They suck. Okay, if you've got a 1-minute intro to a ballad or any freaking song that you're trying to get cut by somebody else, you're not helping me at all from the producer situation, from the producer side at all, because I don't give a damn about your intro. I don't care about your artistic expression of your rendering of this song, because I am going to choose it to do what? To recut it. You're going to
recut it.
I'm going to do another version of it. So I'm interested in the lyric, the melody, and the vibe of the song. If you hand me in the beginning to Long Time by Boston, you know, boom, 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 an 8-minute intro, building up to the big lyric, I am pulling my hair out because I don't have that kind of time, right?
Right. You're already mad at that song
before
they ever start singing.
Angry, right? And it's got nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the situation.
Right.
And you may not be aware of it, you know?
Well, you know, there's that saying about, you know, don't make me, don't bore us, get to the chorus. I've added another one. Don't make me curse, get to the verse.
Don't make me curse, get to the verse. So here's a way to think about this, man. You know, with a movie director, when a movie director shoots a movie, and they always end with the edits that they want, the way the director sees it, the way the artist wants to present this piece of work, and then it goes to Harvey Weinstein, right? And Harvey sits in a room and starts hacking it to pieces because he knows what the market wants, and that's his job is to distribute and sell the crap out of that movie. And so if you've ever ordered a DVD of your favorite movie, and there's the movie version that you saw when you went to the theater, and then there's the director's cut, which is what the artist wanted. So you need to think like Harvey Weinstein when it comes to pitching your songs. If you are pitching a song that maybe wasn't recorded for the purposes of being a demo, and you know you released it on your own CD, so it has your artistic thumbprint on it, man, just put that little WAV file into some kind of little cheap thing and cut off the intro and just hand it in at the just so they can get right to the verse and the chorus, which is what they want to do, period. It's that simple. So
let your EP or your record be the director's cut,
right? And
then your audience is the producer. Send them the theatrical version of it, which gets right to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Gotcha. We're not interested whatsoever in your artistic rendering of that song, because we're doing it with another artist, and they're going to put their artistic rendering. If I'm the producer, I'm going to put my artistic thumbprint on it. We're just looking at the blueprint of what it is. So don't let your artistic way don't let it get in the way of that. Right.
Right.
So
gotcha.
Number 2, crappy or cheap production. Okay, now this is huge. I've talked to several producers, and everybody seems to be in agreement with me, and that is I would rather hear a acoustic vocal, than some poorly put together song demo. It's clearer that way. It's, you know, so if you are trying to cut corners and do something more than what you're capable of, right? Like if and you're not a great engineer and you're not a great producer, then man, just do the acoustic vocal on it. And even then, I would still recommend that you really do the. I mean, we talked about this with Crickets, with your version of Crickets. You handed in a killer acoustic vocal, and that particular kind of song worked with that song because I mean it's so strong melodically and lyrically. It worked all by itself, and it worked so well by itself, mind you. Your concern was that they cut it like that, and you thought if we did a full version of it, maybe they would have cut it like that, and it could have been a single, right?
But yeah, I agree. I think it's better to have a good, clean guitar vocal or piano vocal than it is to have a bad demo, because the bad demo has bad stuff in it, and the bad stuff is distracting, and it taints the whole sound of it and the whole experience of listening to it. You know, some songs, need a full demo. Some songs are better served with the guitar vocal, but don't it's better to have something less and better than more and worse.
Yeah, if it's crappy guitar tones and everything's like real tinny or like right off the bat, especially after in this situation, I've been working all week. I've been listening to music all week, doing my job all day, and now I know I got 6 hours ahead of me, and this crappy sounding demo comes up, and I'm like, my head says, I'm like, oh God, and I just hate it. I hate it before the song even starts.
Well, and you start thinking, this person is not a professional.
Yes.
Because pros don't send in this stuff. So you're automatically making judgments on the quality of the what you think the writing's going to be based on the audio quality before they even start singing. And so then they're starting off in the hole.
Yeah.
And they're also starting off in the hole because the last demo you listened to sounds great.
Yes.
And here, this thing comes in like a rickety Model T, just trying to make it down the street. And
yeah,
like, okay, this is not going to be good.
Like I work for NASCAR.
Work that much harder to overcome that.
Exactly. Like if I work for NASCAR and I run the track and you're trying to convince me that you should get this rusted out baby blue Dodge Dart from 1968 on the track to compete with all these other cars that are, sorry, I don't care how good of a driver you are. You're gonna be judged.
Or what's under the hood.
Yeah.
I ain't looking.
Yeah. You're gonna be judged, man. So you know what? Man, on another note on this too, I've had so many guys call up or songwriters, guys and girls, hey Johnny, I found this place to do my song for $400. Going to do my song demo. Well, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a crappy demo at that point, because $100 of that I guarantee is going to the singer. And then there's one guy who just happens to be really talented. Maybe he was so-and-so's guitar player or so-and-so's drummer. And those tracks, I promise you're going to be great, but he's also doing everything else. The drums, the bass, the keyboards, the fiddle, all that. And they're not going to be that great, or they're going to be cheap and digital. And it's just for that amount of money, he's not going to put that much time into it. And you're doing yourself a disservice. And I promise you the producers in town can tell right away. Like probably not only that one guy did it, but which guy did it. Not for nothing, you know what I mean? So It's worth the money to get the demo done right and give yourself a chance to compete with everybody else.
Which doesn't mean just because it's expensive that it's going to be good, but you don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish. They say, Well, I saved $200 on the demo, which means I'm going to make zero on the song probably. Well, then you just wasted the money you did spend.
And not only that, but I'll tell you that more than half of the people that have at least shared with me this experience have gone back and had to recut this, that, and the other thing, and then remix and redo this. And I'm like, how much did your $400 demo cost? They're like, $1,000. I'm like, well, you're right there. Yeah. So, congrats. You could have had a lot nicer experience the first time if you just.
Right.
But that's the first thing. So. Number 3, it's going to be a two-parter. Number 3, wrong song. Okay, read the tip sheet or listen to the instructions on what the project is requiring. If the producer asks for up-tempo party songs, don't send ballads. The tip sheet has an artist with a limited vocal range, don't send huge songs with big vocal range no matter how good they are. They don't care. They're not going to give that to their artist to sing and try to get them to stretch out or anything,
Right.
Who's going to sing them? So, in other words, this happened to me a lot in this situation, by the way. I told you I actually had 250 emails. It was more than 250 songs because there's 2 or 3 people that I can remember that sent me every freaking song they ever wrote, or at least every song that they've ever demoed. As an opportunity, here it is. Like, listen to all this stuff, and none of it was appropriate for the job that we wanted.
Right. It's not like buying lottery tickets, where the more you buy, that your odds go up. It's not like that.
Exactly. I mean, would you do that? I mean, you're paying attention to the artist and the tone and making sure that you're trying to match what you have in your catalog with what your understanding is of that project. That you're trying to meet them halfway.
I don't want to waste the producer or A&R person's time, because then they're less likely to give me more of their time in the future.
Yeah. I'm telling you what. I mean, I can't remember who they are now, but if I did, I'd be like, no, I don't want to talk to them anymore. Because they're not listening to me. Right? Like, this is what I need for this artist. It's this very specific artist. He's got a very specific tone, a very specific image. And we need a very specific kind of song, and you're sending me, whiskey songs.
Right.
Up-tempo whiskey songs. I don't need that,
Yeah, it's, and if you do, open their email, that's going to be the last one you open. You're like, I'll get to that later. because I'm already feeling like the odds are going down. And plus, like an artist like Colin Ray is not exactly an unknown quantity.
Yeah. You can find out about him. Yeah.
He's got a greatest hits record, okay? Which he earned with hits, actually full of hits. Right. And so if you don't know what he does, shame on you. Do your homework. You're
not playing a student of the game. Don't play stupid on this one. Don't pretend like you didn't know, because then that makes it worse, That's like, doctor, why is my husband dead? Well, we performed brain surgery. We just need to operate on his foot. Well, I didn't know. Like no, that doesn't work, man. No, that's not okay. That's not okay. So number 4, vague or missing email subject lines. Okay, I get a regular allotment of emails that's already overwhelming, and then I had 250 extra. I'd be willing to bet, and I still wouldn't really know for sure, that there were some songs that I missed because they didn't say Colin Ray Project because people knew what it was,
Yeah, and you don't have time to just check your email. You're not checking your email. You're looking for those songs, because you got to do that right now and move on.
Exactly. And I got to move them to a folder so I can get them all together and then organize them and then get ready to go through them, And I'm not checking every single. I wonder if this song that's like Blue Skies Are Amazing, because that was the name of the song.
Right.
I wonder if that's what that was about, or is that a sales pitch,
Yeah, exactly.
Or what were you going to say?
I said, or it's a GIF, or cats jumping. No, that's the name of the song. I thought it was going to be another GIF of a cat jumping. But so what kind of stuff should be in the email subject line? What do you want to see which is going to make it easy on you to go, that's what I'm looking for, that's what I'm going to listen to?
Man, most of the people that I did, most of the emails I got were, all capital letters, Colin Ray Project, 2 songs or 1 song or whatever. And then, that was in capital letters, and then small letters would be the name of the writer. But they just wanted to make sure that I was instantly aware of what this email was for, because they knew I had a deadline. I needed them. Yeah. We told people, because I called you on that, remember? And I was like, I need them by Thursday, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need them by Thursday, and that gave people an extra 12 hours time to
Right, and I remember going through my catalog and trying to find something I thought would fit Colin Ray. I wasn't just going, okay, here are my best songs. It was like, what's going to fit Colin?
That's right. There you go.
Because those can be 2 different things.
That's right.
But when I send stuff off to pitch, I'll usually say, like, in this case, probably what I said on yours was like song for Colin or song for Colin Ray, title in quotes, then in parentheses, last names of the writers. Yep. That's usually my standard thing. Artist, song title, writers. And I'd send only 1 song per email. That way it's easier for them to segregate it, move it where they want it to. If they like one, don't like the other one, they don't have to keep them both or whatever. Exactly. And plus I put the writers' names on there, because especially if I have some good co-writers on there, it may make them go, ooh, let's listen to that first.
Oh, yeah. It's Brent and, Brent and Craig Wiseman are here. Ooh. That's interesting. Yeah.
If Craig would rap with me, it'd be great.
You hear that, Craig? You hear that?
Hear that? Yeah.
All right, so number 5, and this will be the last one for this episode. You didn't research the artist before sending the songs. We touched on this a little bit before, but in the case of Colin Ray, how would you, as a writer, describe Colin Ray's tone, image, presence, artistry?
Based on what I'm familiar with, right, which is where you go and you maybe try to project some in the future. But based on the stuff that I have CDs sitting over there, it's rangy, ballad heavy. It's pretty clean, so he's not doing a bunch of drinking, a lot of cheating. Yeah. It's sincere. It can be sensitive. He can have heart on the sleeve kind of stuff. Definitely, he's covered Open Arms, from Journey, so you can kind of go there, like the big rock ballad thing. But his songs like I Think About You, Little Rock, some of those songs. I'm trying to think of some of the others. But
see, like with Little Rock,
have some heart, have some deeper message, some of that stuff to it. So he has some meat in there. One boy, one girl. Yep. Some of that stuff. So he's not all light and fluff. Some of his stuff is fun and light. Little Red Rodeo. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But then don't be afraid to go deep and go big ballad, rangy.
Yeah, Love Me, like that's huge.
Yeah.
And he's actually got zero cheating songs and zero drinking songs. The only thing that would come close to that would probably be Little Rock, but that's a song of redemption.
Yeah, he's not drinking.
I'm not drinking anymore.
I'm
moving forward, you know. So for him, for Colin, I mean, he's a deeply, he's a devout Catholic, you know. He's very religious, and that's just who he is. Like, he just is like that. That's his life, you know. Like it's very, like, that's very much Colin. So yeah, I got cheating songs, drinking songs, like gambling songs, you know. Like this is not this. He's not an outlaw. Like he's he's not that guy, you know. So you could give me the biggest hit in the world, you know. Like, I mean, the biggest you could, you know. You could give me the male version of Before She Cheats or whatever, and it would, like, hey, great song, but why did you waste? I can't get this minute and half of my life back now, you know, because this is not what I need for the project. So anyway, that's the first 5. Just to recap, I mean, real quick, guys, long intros suck on demos. If you're trying to get a pitch, edit your recording to get exactly to the lyric, the melody, and the vibe of the song. That's what we want. And if you can make that happen in an acoustic vocal, God bless, do it. Sometimes the lyric is strong enough and the melody is strong enough just to stand all on its own. And sometimes if it's a dance song or something, you're really going to need a beat, so you're going to need a good demo, which brings us to number 2. Don't do crappy or cheap production on it, okay? And I got a lot of heat on that. People are just like, well, you're the producer. You're supposed to see through cheap, crappy production and know a good song when you hear it. Well, at 2 o'clock in the frickin' morning, when I've been working for 18 hours, and I got no choice but to get this done tonight because I got a meeting in 8 hours you know, with the artist, and I got to come up with 15 songs. Like, you will be judged. I mean, you have to understand this. Like, when I turned 16 years old on my 16th birthday, July 2nd, I got my driver's license. I was with my dad, knocking on the door at 9 a.m. at the DMV. Open up, give me my freedom right now. You know. And exactly 2 weeks later, I got my first ticket. And I remember walking out the door on the day that I had to go to court, and my dad was there. He knew what I was up to, and I had on a pair of ripped jeans and an AC/DC t-shirt, and he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to court, you know, I gotta go do whatever for this ticket. He's like, dressed like that?
On staying there?
Yeah. He's like, dressed like that you are? And I'm like, nah, yeah. And he's like, no, you're not. Go back and put a suit on. I'm like, like, after that, I'm going to hang out with some buddies, and then he's like, go put a suit on. You know, he was a Marine, and it came with a bunch of expletives and something about his foot up my butt. And I'm like, he's a judge. He's supposed to not be partial, you know. And he's like, no, he's not a judge. He's a human, and you're going to be judged. You know, I mean, how do you know? Maybe his kid was at an AC/DC concert and got in a lot of trouble and ruined his life forever. So you don't know what the hell's going on with that. Go put a suit on and show some respect for the court. Period. Right. So show a little respect for the court. Like, you brought up something great. I mean, you know, immediately, if you don't believe enough in your songs to invest in a really good recording, then why should I believe enough in it? That's the first thing that goes through my head. Right. Well, second thing that goes through my head right after, oh my God, I got to suffer through this. Like, it sounds like crap. And sandwiched up against 2 songs that have awesome production, you're not looking good. You know,
you're not. No, it's, you know what they say. You're a producer. You should hear through that. You know what? But also, if you want to be a pro songwriter, you should make it easy on me.
Yeah.
You should make it easy for me to hear it's a hit. As easy as you can. That may only be a guitar vocal.
Another really good point is, you know, if you're Brent Baxter or Craig Wiseman or a hit songwriter in town with a track record that people know your name, you could save a lot of money, or your publishing company could save a lot of money by just not ever doing really good demos, because it costs the publishing companies money too, right? So they could think about how much money they could save on all their top writers if they just never did good demos. But why don't they do that?
Because if they don't, the other guys will.
That's right. And
it's like the arms race.
Yeah, exactly, man. So number 3 was wrong song. Make sure that you're, you know, if we need up-tempo, if we need a ballad, if we need something that's cleaner, if we need whiskey songs, I mean, make sure that you know what kind of song they need. Hand that in. 4 vague or missing email subject lines. If you put your song title in the subject line, how the hell am I supposed to know what that is as a producer? I don't know. What I do know is I'm looking for songs for Colin Ray in this instance, and I'm going to need that. So make sure that that's hey, this is for that, dummy. Like, because
Right,
I'm
exactly.
overworked
Make
and I'm
it easy.
exhausted. Make it easy on me so I can pick it out and put it over here, and then we're going to put it in that pool and listen to it, And then finally, for the first half of these was do some research on the artist. Is it an outlaw artist? Is it in Colin Ray's case, he's very, it's very deep, meaningful, big, rangy kind of stuff. It's not trite for the most part. I mean, like, he does have some fun, fluffy stuff, but it's not, it's not going to be anything that's whiskey or gambling or cheating or anything like that. He just doesn't do that. So handing me those songs or handing the producer those songs is wasting their time. So that brings us to the end of this episode. We're running a little bit long. We want you to win, guys. And as always, for my free book, man, you can get it at giftfromjohnny.com. It's a free Twitter book. It's a best-selling Twitter book. We give it to you for nothing, just for listening. If you don't have it already, it'll teach you how to use Twitter, how to get 1,000 targeted followers for you as an artist in just 15 minutes of work a day. So it's really easy, okay? And that brings us to the end of this episode here. We want you to keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.